Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome again to our DevOps class on KodeCamp. Today we'll be handling the practical session on Python. So we'll be working together to test to run some operations on our system by automating them using Python. Okay. So if there are any questions, we'll talk about them together and make this an interactive session. So I think you go ahead with your question.
Okay, so I was asking if the last class, the video was uploaded because it will help us able to set up this virtual environment, which is which you named KC VENV, that's virtual environment. And from there, we can get into Visual Studio Code, which is code dot. That's it.
So I'll just start from creating the virtual environment in the first place. Which will help us to have an isolated environment where we can install modules, work with different modules, and have it installed separate from the main path of our computer, so that we can work in that virtual environment. So how you will create the virtual environments?
So please, let's at least let's get to where you guys are now before we move to the next step. I'm still struggling with this VS Code though.
Okay.
Okay, the challenge now is I have the VS Code is installed on my administrator parts of the system, whereas I've created another user where I want to be working. I don't know, is it possible to move the VS Code to the user part of the system?
What did you say? I don't understand. It's on your system, but
yeah, it's on my system. Then I now created another user. You know, when you have an administrator and other users.
Okay.
So when I download something on the administrator part, I don't get to see it on the user. I have to maybe, and sometimes my system by default, when it sleeps and I wake it, it automatically switches to the administrator. And I wouldn't know, so I could just download something in the administrator. If I will now realize that actually it was supposed to be on the user, so I have to go and download it again at the user. So I'm asking, is there?
Where did you download them?
I have most of them downloaded at the user, but I just noticed that this VS Code is downloaded on the administrator part.
Okay, can you
so do I have to, sir?
Yes.
Hello, sir.
User accounts.
I have to download it on the user account.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Let me do that quickly.
Okay. So that's installed, so you
So your voice is breaking.
So you do pip3 because pip is your Python package manager. You do pip3 install virtual env, right? And that installs your virtual environment for you. When you have that installed, you can now create a virtual environment by running that module that has been done, that virtual env module that has been downloaded. So you do Python 3. What did it take? I'm trying. Python 3 vn -m flag, and you give the virtual environment a name. Virtual environment, right? Okay. So it's saying that there's no such file or directory in here called vn, right? So I was meant to put -m before the vn. So I still try to see this vn as a file, right? To know that it's a module. So I'll just put this other way. And try to create KC4. We will delete the other. We will delete the other virtual environment that we have there already, just so that we can be on the same page. So I'll just quickly remove that. Let's see. So now I have this one virtual environment here. If you're on a Linux, if you're in a Linux environment, or you're on Git Bash, you can easily activate, because you have it downloaded now, right? Created, sorry. You can activate your virtual environment using source. The name of the virtual environment, bin activate. This is a script that you can see here if you list KC4, and you see that you have a bin directory there. And in the bin directory, you have an activate script here, which is used for Linux. And this activate PS1 is the PowerShell script equivalent of this that you will activate if you're in a Windows environment. Right. So if you're in a Windows environment, you just easily run that script by doing / the name of your virtual environment, bin, and activate. All right, and then you can run that, and that just executes the file. What's Linux? I'll do source. And that activates my environment, and I'm back to where I was. Okay. Okay, so we all got that now. Okay, so now we are going to try to run some processes. I've imported the OS module and imported the sys module. I could easily start from the sys module by printing out my Python version, right? Because I said that this interacts with the Python runtime environment. So I can do sys. version. This is a module. Inside the module, there are different functions that are contained in the module, and one of them is this version, right? So having that sys version, and to print it out, I can put the print command right there and save this. And this is the file I'm working with. If I run that using Python 3 to execute the code. See that it has printed out the Python version that I'm working with, which is 3.1.2. So that's one easy step you can use to get the version of your Python. This can be important in cases where maybe you would like to know what version of Python is running on the system, to know what kind of what version of a tool or version of a module will be compatible with that version. You can use this to run it. Say you want to install a particular version of, let's say, maybe Flask. And do an if statement to get the version. If system version, if your system version greater than or equal to if statements. Then do something. This means let's print out the version. Else statements. Then we're getting an error. Okay. So what this error is saying is that this is returning a string to us, and you want to use when you're evaluating between two values, they should be of the same type of integer and integer, but this is returning a string, so we can't evaluate that except we convert this into an integer, right? But this is what it's returning, which is a string. Let's try working with doing something else with the sys module. So we define a function to get the version of Python. So let's look at working with functions now. To create a function in Python, you define the function using the def key, get def keyword, and then you give your function a name. Let's put this here. And give your function a name. And within the function, it gives you the indentation for it, right? Which defines a block of code, like we spoke about in our last class. So this defines the block of code for you. And then within the function, you can do whatever carry out, write whatever instruction or code you want to write within the environment of that function, and then call it later to perform that action, right? So that you won't have to repeat, so that you can keep your code clean and you won't have to repeat different logic within your code many times. So I'm coming back to our sys version again. If you do sys, see if we want to print this out. I'm expecting questions at any point. So this returns the version. So when it's called, wherever it's called in the code, you can return that version and want to create it for I'm just trying out something quickly. See if that can print out. So what I'm doing here is called string splitting. I'm trying to see if I can get this first part of the string that has been executed, right? Okay. So another important way to keep your code readable and clean is to have your main function which is going to be the primary function of this code script that I'm writing now. Within this function, I can now call every other function that has been used in the code. Like if I want to call this gets version function now, I can call it within my main function. If say there's another function okay, let's do something, the same thing we did in the same class to create folder. So we have another create folder function, right? I can also call it within this my function as well. So many times that I'll need this function at any point in code. If I want to do something with the function, say maybe folder is equal to this create function, and I want to maybe iterate over something in it. Right? So you see that I'm working with what is created here instead of having to rewrite the entire code. Right? So this is something that functions. This is one importance of functional programming, writing programs with functions that you can do here. Okay, so let's comment that out. Right? Remember what we said about comments. When you comment, that's that particular thing wouldn't run. So let's try to execute this one. Okay. So nothing is running in our code now. Let's try to debug that. We'll put something to print here to see whether we have entered this block, this function at all. So main function, executing main function. And you can see that nothing is executing. This is because we have defined a function here, and we have called this get function inside the main function, and we have defined a main function where we have called the get function, right? But this whole script is filled with function definitions, and the main function has not yet been called. So we can come down here to call it so that when the execution begins, right now, when the execution began, all it saw was the function definitions, right? It didn't see a call for the main function. It didn't see an entry point, it didn't see a start. So we've put in this call for the main function now, so that we can, when it comes here, it sees this, and then it's defined in this main function, and it says that it should print main function, execute main function, and then it should go and execute this function that has also been defined here. So let's see if we get any other errors. Okay, so it has come to executing main function, and then it comes to this part for, let me put comments here. So this is to execute get version function, and get version function is defined here. is defined here, right? So we define this get version function, which does it uses this sys module to get the version of Python. Sys module is to interact with your Python runtime. So it uses sys module to get the version of Python running, and then it puts that in this variable called version, and then version ID does a split for the version that was returned. So the version that was returned, if we comment this out, and we do print version to see the version that was returned, right? We see that what was returned was this string here, this length of string that we have. We will put that down here, okay? If we put that down here, and we want to think about, I hope I'm not saying putting so many concepts. If we want to think about a string split now, so this string, right? You can see the string as an array of characters. An array is a data structure that contains different values, different number of values of the same type within it. So let's say this entire string now is a big array. Just conceptualize it like this, right? And inside this array, you have these different values: 3 dots, 1, 2 dots, 3 space, open brackets, v, 3 dots, and all these characters, you have them in here. This first character is your initial character, and it has a number assigned to it so that I can particularly point to this value and tell somebody, okay, go to this location and you'll find this value. That location is called the index. So please guys, ask me some questions if you don't understand. So taking the index now, the first value in an array has an index of 0. The next value has an index of 1. Okay, Etin.
And just a suggestion, will it be okay if you use an example like with fruits to explain indexing, and people will be able to relate to it better? Because I think the numbers are a bit jam-packed and confusing.
Yeah. Thank you, Etin. Let's run with that suggestion. Guys that are new to Python, I hope you're following. We will come to our very good friend, Escali Draw. Someone's hand is up.
Yeah, it's me. Can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, Michael. Sorry, the question I wanted to ask, I added it on the group chat, but I've not received any response. Kind of want to ask if
in this class. Is it about what you're doing here?
Exactly. Like I can see that you're trying to automate something with Python. I can see you are creating directory, but I want to know what way we are driving at so that I can be able to connect the dots.
Okay. So what we are doing is we are looking at how to do automations using Python, right? We are working with various modules, so we are like trying to see how these various modules can be useful to us. Right now I'm demonstrating what we can do with the sys module. The sys module is Hamid, what is a module? Do you know what a module is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay, can you just tell us for those who don't know?
Oh, okay. As far as I can remember, module is in Python is like a body of code that can be reusable. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe I can call it like a package or something, but it has been developed already. So we import it into our own code and reuse some functions that have been created inside it already.
Okay. So
Hello?
that's a spot on description of what it is. It's just
Okay.
it's a code. It contains different functions in it, and it
Yeah,
is something that you can import into your own code. You can create your own modules,
yeah,
right, that you can import into another code that you're writing, right? So
yeah.
we are working with this module, which is a module that has been created so that you can interact with the Python runtime. And with that
Okay,
module, it's like get the version of Python. If you're working with Python and some arguments have been passed to Python, you can get those arguments, those parameters. You can decide to work on something with the within your Python path and operations like that. Right now, we are using the version sys.version function within that sys module to just get the version of Python, right? And
okay,
we we're going down the line and we got into a concept called string splitting, right? And that's just what I'm trying to explain.
okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So say this is a data object, right? You have a data object called fruit basket, like Etim said. You have a data structure, and you have a fruit basket, for example, right? And this fruit basket, you have apples, oranges, bananas, pineapple, right? Um, okay. So your fruit basket is your array, and it contains these different values, these different fruits inside it, right? If you now want to tell somebody, okay, give me the third fruit in the basket, the person needs to come to the basket and see, okay, where is the third fruit in the basket, and pick it up and give it to you. So how you would look at this basically as a human being is to say, okay, the apple is the first fruit, orange is the second fruit, banana is the third fruit, pineapple is the fourth fruit, right? When you're working with when you're working in with code and indexing, indexes start from 0. So you would say you have the first object there with an index of 0, which is apple, which is at index 0, position 0 in this basket. You have oranges at the position 1. You have bananas at position 2, and you have pineapples at position 3. So if I say get me the third fruits in my fruit basket, that third fruit is at position 2. The index is 2 in this basket, and that can be specified this way. You have your fruit baskets. This is how you specify an array with square brackets, right? So you have your fruit baskets, and then I can put in the index here, which is equal to banana, right? Okay. So with that same concept, assuming we have something like fruit baskets, right, written as a string. This string is saved in the same data structure as this array, right? So all the characters here are in an array that make up this string, and you can look at them the same way. With F, B, A, S, K, E, C. Fruit baskets. And since it's an array, it will also have positions 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's 5B? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, right. 1, 2, 9, 10, 11. Okay. There's a bit of confusion here. Okay. Does everybody understand to this point? If you don't understand, just put up your hand. Put up your hand if you don't understand. Okay. So we are all together here. Now, when you're trying to get a character, you know I said that fruit basket, you get it by specifying this array here, and then it gives you the value at index 2. Say we have this new fruit basket. And this will give me U, right? Assuming I now want to get a range of values, say I want to get fruits complete, right? I know that F is at position 0, index 0, right? R is at position 1. U is at position 2, which is index 2. When I say position, just think index. I is at index 3. Okay. And finally, C is at index 4. And this gives me fruit. Okay. Instead of doing it one by one, I can specify it in this method using fruit baskets. Two. It should give me everything from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that should be fruit. Guys, does this make sense? Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay. Are you new to Python?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and this makes sense. Do you understand this?
No, I don't.
Okay, very good. So, let's start from the array. Do you understand the array that holds values
collection
of
of- Yes.
okay. And you understand the indexing, which is giving it positions like imagine this is a crate of eggs, right? Each egg is going into one position
Yes.
from 0. So F egg is going to the first position, which is 0, not 1, 0. So you have the index as 0 to 10 for fruits number 1, 2, 3. Does that make, do you understand this part?
Yes, I do now.
Okay. So, okay, there's a funny mistake here. There's a very funny mistake here. I'm putting in the values here and saying that they are equal to the index. Okay. Is that what confused you? Hello?
At the end, you have a fruit basket 04 is equals to fruit.
Okay. Okay, see how that confused you. So, I'm supposed to be specifying the indexes here, of course, not the value. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and that is giving us what? Abire,
Yes,
what's
I'm
that?
listening.
What's that index 0?
0 is giving us F.
Okay, what's that 1?
R. 2 will be
What is
U.
that? Okay,
3 is I. And 4 is T.
okay. So if we put that together, saying from 0 to 4,
Okay,
that's
you have fruit.
yes. So what if we say right? So what is
Basket.
this?
Basket.
Okay.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay. So let's move forward a little bit. Right? So I hope you'll remember this guy. So we have this guy. Who remembers him? Nabire. You know what this is?
No, unfortunately, I don't.
Okay. This was the Python version that was given to us when we
Okay.
did the version. And it is a string. And a string is an array of characters, right? So in essence, we can say if this is equal to version, we say this is equal to version. And version is fruit basket, the name of the array. So if we do version from 0 to 6, everything from 0 to 6, what does that give you?
That would be that we are referring back to the version as in the fruit basket you have up there. The
No,
one you
version.
declared up.
Version. This is the string we are working with now.
Okay,
So we
that's
want to split
3
it.
point. This 3.12.2, is it a single entity?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Single entity. No.
As
You're
in,
looking at every
if I
character.
say 0 is single, can I say 3.12.2 is the same thing as 0?
No. 3 is
Oh, it's
0.
single. Okay,
Yes.
is that a comma?
That is a dot,
Okay.
which is another character. A
Oh,
dot is a character. So that dot is 2. That dot is 1. 3 is 0. The dot is 1. That
1.
one there is at index 2.
Okay.
Even this thing here, this space is
Is
white
a
space.
character.
It's a character. It's called white space. So you will count that too.
So also the brackets.
The brackets.
I can't hear you anymore.
Yes, the brackets as well. The opening brackets, this V, everything here.
Okay.
So if we split it, we do from 0 to 6. That's 0, 1, 2, 3,
2,
4,
3,
5,
5,
6.
6. Tens are 2.
And we get this.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how we split this thing to get just this first part. Because we want to use that for something. Okay. So Abire understands. Okay, go ahead,
Yes,
Ade.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I want to confirm, did you count 12 as one entity or you counted it as 1 and 12?
Counted it as 1 and 2.
And 2, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you're good as well.
Very okay.
Hello. Adekoya, you're fine?
Yes, I'm very good. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. So we are back in here. We can comment that. It's ID here. Okay. And save. And if we run that again, we get executing Python function, which is what it does when it comes into, because we called main, it comes into main, it goes into get version. When it goes into get version, let us see when it goes into get version. So we'll put this here and say executing gets version function, right? And if we run that, you see we have executing main function. And then we now come to executing get version function because it has now entered this function, right? And then it prints out the version ID. Okay. Okay. So let us do this. Create folder. We now want to use our OS module. Okay. So we will print the executing create function. So we want to get the version inside let's try instead of printing. Let us, because printing just prints this inside the function. Let us try passing the value of version ID into get version, so that if we call get version somewhere else, we can get that value again. Let's see how that will work. Okay. Let's see. That's yeah. So that's a little change, but it will be important later. So what we did is instead of printing, Adekoya, do you understand what just happened? Do you understand what I just did?
Still looking at it, not yet.
Okay. So before, so this is what we had before, okay? And it comes into get version function, right? So when it comes into this, it prints, because it's running this, it now prints the version ID, which is this, right? Which is this. It prints it out here, okay? Instead of doing that, I want us to pass the value of version ID into this function. So when you call the function, the value it will give you is this print statement here, right? So you can now have, it now returns this value. It returns this value into the function, okay? And if I call it here, you see it's not printing anything, but I did call it here. Okay. What is happening is that I can have inside this my main function, I can declare a variable called number. Okay. I can define that value as a string called random number. Okay. Random number is saved inside this variable. So if I print number, okay, I print it now, I'll get random number here because random number is what is inside this number. Random number is when I print this thing called number, this variable, it holds a value called random number. Okay, that is the same way if I return version ID to get function, whenever I call get function, we will run the logic in the code and return, that is, it will return the value to get this get function. Let's call it a variable. It's not a variable, it's a function, but it's now holding the value of get function wherever I call it. So if I say print what is there, right? The same thing that happens to that random number, the same thing that will happen here. It will print it out because this value has been returned to it here. Okay. Now we are in create folder. We now want to do we want to create a file. We want to create a folder. Okay. Where's this make directory? Okay, go ahead, Abiri.
Okay, where is it stored? The version ID, where did you store it?
Where is it stored?
Well, where did you declare it?
Yeah.
No, the
Okay.
3.12 whatever that is. Yes, where is it stored?
Okay. So sys.version is
Okay.
using this sys module, and there's a function inside the sys module called version. And what that version is doing is that it gets the version of Python that you're running, version of Python that you're running. So I use that sys.version. This version would return. Can you see my terminal down here? It's a return this string. It's a return this string.
Okay.
To get the version and return it as a string. So it returns the string to this version function. So I now assign the value of that version to this variable called version here. So that version now holds this full string. I now came down here to version ID and did a split here.
0 to
Remember
6.
when we talked about this?
Yes, yes.
That's now brought out this.
Oh, okay.
And put it inside this variable.
I get it now.
And then I returned this variable to this variable, just like anytime I call this.version, it will give me this string. So that's what we've done here. So now we're creating a direct. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So now inside this, we want to create a directory called box, right? Let's create a directory called your hand is still open. Let's create a directory called pbox. Abiri, do you have another question?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Do you have another question?
No, no. Oh, sorry. I'll drop my hand now.
Okay. let's call it KC4, KC4 OS folder. And this. Okay. So let's name it that. And if we run this now, okay, we'll have to call it. So after print directory, we'll now call the create folder in here in the main function so that it can be executed. And if we execute that, you see that KCOS folder has been created here. Okay, so let's delete that for now. Okay. Within this create folder function, let us call this get version function. Okay, which will return this version ID. Now, we want to assign this to, let's assign this to another variable, right? I'm not even sure where I'm going with this. Okay, let's assign it to this VID variable, and we will say that's how the data break. So okay, let's see what happens with this. Then somebody will come and explain what I'm doing here. Okay, we have an error. Great, great, great. So what is the error saying? Trace back. Starting from line 33, main function. Main function, where it was called line 33, then inside the create function folder. Okay, line 30, we have the create function folder. So we are tracing back where the error is coming from. The create function folder, and in file we have create folder. online in create folder function, we have online 19. There is an error here. Must be a real number, not a string. Okay, let's see. So this F means floats, I think, and this S probably means string. So let's try that again. And that's has created a folder called version. No? Okay, it created this KCOS folder dash 3.1.3.12 3.12.2. If we can list that out here, you can see that's right here. So somebody come and explain what I did. Okay. Who is coming? I want someone new to Python. I'll call names. Before I call you, put up your hand. People need to Python. If you know that I will call you, put up your hand now. I know the person I want to call. You were having some issues in the last class with Python and you're quiet now, so I'm going to call you. Do you know yourself? Chika. Hello, Chika, are you there? Chika, are you with us?
Yes, yes, I'm with us. I'm with us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Do you understand what we've been doing?
The truth is that I don't understand.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Wogu. Wogu, you put up your hand.
Right? So I did it too. I
Do you
didn't know
understand what
what
you just did? Hmm?
yeah, in line number what?
Okay, you weren't following. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm actually on transit, so
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Okay, Abire. Abire, do you understand what we did? Etim.
No,
Okay.
I don't. Just that you're trying to create a folder and you're using your Python to do that.
Okay, Etim.
I think a bit.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to be commenting based on what you're saying on these 4 lines inside here, right? So what is happening here?
Oh, are you referring to me?
Yes, sir.
All right. First thing you do is to define
No,
a function to
okay.
create a folder.
Hold on. I'm trying to. So we are defining the function here, right?
Yes, to create a folder.
All right. So what did we do next?
Now, the first thing that will be printed will be on the new line is executing, you print out the statement executing create folder function. You print in the new
What
line
did you say?
execute. So you print in the new line
Okay.
executing
On a
create
new
folder.
line. On a new line. So guys, that is really important. You see this escape character here, where you have /n. That's called an escape character. So that would create a new line. That's why this execute function is not coming right beside this here. it goes to a new line to write executing function. So it writes, it prints a statement on a new line. Okay. So you can read up more on escape characters. Okay, what's the next thing that happens?
And then the next thing is you created a variable to call the function get version, which was defined the first function to get the version of get to and to get the version.
Okay.
Then initiated if statement, so to check if string 3 is inside the output, then it should create the folder KC4OS
In the output.
of the if string 3 is inside the output from get version, the output of the get version, it should, because what will print out.
Return.
Yeah, it's true. So if that string 3 is inside of it, then you should create the folder KCOS folder. And then, let me see. KCOS folder, and then give it, I think that percentage S is the string, right? Yeah, main string. That's the part I'm not really conversant with. But I think you should add at the end the suffix a string, because it took I can't really explain that part.
It's in the script string here, right?
Yes.
It should create a space for a value
To add that
that
variable.
yes.
I'll appear inside I'll appear inside that variable.
Okay. Because I can't put this value inside here. It will turn it to a string. So I have to put it outside of the string, but I still have to call it within the string.
So the percentage,
which shows that it's a string. Let me hear. If I have a number.
Could you please explain it again? I think your line was broken.
Okay. Let's go back to this guy. Let's see. That integer. Let's say 4.
No, what I mean is the percentage S and the percentage and the variable. I understand the rest.
Yeah, I want to put the percentage.
Okay.
I'll take only one.
I think I can only take one argument, so otherwise.
Yeah.
It didn't declare. Okay.
Let's say we want to print this out now. Just quickly. And we are printing random number. We want to put this in here. So we now want to pass this 4 here, but we can't put number in here. Because you see it has changed to a string. So you have to pass a value for it. And then
is it similar to F string?
F string.
When you call in F string, you use the call. Yes.
Not in Go. Let me see F string.
I mean, the principle is similar to call.
Okay. I don't know about this F string function. I know about it only in language.
Yeah, okay. I
Okay,
think
so that's basically what we were doing here.
okay.
What do you say?
I think F-string is used to call, I think, variables. You just put it in front of the in print statement, you put it before the quotes, and then you can put the variable inside this thing, braces, dictionary braces. So at that point, it will print it. I was able to call that. No, you don't write F-string. You just, if like you put, assume you declare a variable, let's say name is equals to John, and then you print, I think then you put F quote, my name is, and put in braces name. So once it prints, it will call that variable which you assign John as F string. So I think it also when I saw percentage, as I'm guessing it's the same principle.
Yeah.
I'll have to learn it. Thank you.
This is what you mean. This way. Anyway, yeah, it's the same principle there. Okay. So this is just an example of a simple automation we can do. Let's see another function. I think we'll do this one as the last one. Somebody will come and explain it for us. Okay. So we'll go back to some guys that we have touched on. Okay, let's try something. We'll just look at the concept of scoping here. So I'm not going to be explaining what I'm doing because I want somebody to come and explain. Hello, Chika. Hello, Chika, question. Hello, Chika. Okay. Someone's hand is up.
Please, I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm not saying anything. I'm just writing this. I'm writing the script and I'm going to call someone to explain it for us. Okay, so who would like to try? Yes. Okay, we have like 7 minutes more. Who is there? Who can come to attend so that I can comment? Is there anybody? We can trace back. We can start from here. We can start from here. So this is execute, create resource function, right? So look for create resource function, which is here. So who can come and let's begin from here. Anybody? Gary, okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I think the execution will start from main. So once it enters main, then the first line of code is 959. So it would print out the statements. Execute line 59. 59. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it will print out the statements to the console.
Yes. Okay. Because we have already. It starts from main, of course.
Yes.
You said that. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Then from there it will go to line 62. Then so also print out. So it will call. It will call the get version. So the output from get version, it will print it out. So from get version, it's going to return the version ID.
Okay.
Then the version ID will pass it to the print statement. Then to print out the version ID to the console.
Okay.
Then line 64 will be the next line. It will now call the function create folder.
Okay. Should we go and look at create folder?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So on line, to start with line 27, it will print out the statements, just like I can't remember the person that attempted this day. So it should the new line. It should have print out a statement with then 2 new lines. Yes.
Okay.
Then from there to go to line 30.
A new line before the execute and
before
then
the statement, yes, and after yes. Then to go to line 30, it will call the get version. Then the response from the get version, which is the version ID, to save it into the variable vid.
Okay.
Yes. Then since the response from get version that I saved into vid is, I think, is an array. So
it's an array of characters, which is a string.
Yes, it is a string. Yes. So it should do an if statement. Okay, to execute line 33, then search if the string character tree is inside the value saved inside it. So if it is inside, it should execute the next line, which is line 34. thereby making a directory and naming the directory KCOS folder, then hyphen the version ID value.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's it.
Then
Our create function, our create folder function.
yes. Then to now go to the that's the last line 67. Then to call the create resource function.
Okay.
Then when we get into the create resource function,
Let's create resource.
yes. So it will first execute the resource function,
Okay.
which would so on lines 40, it will first get the current working directory, which is a string, and to save it into the variable dir.
Okay.
Then it will now compare the value in dir to the value of the value saved inside dir, the string saved inside dir part at the top.
Where is the IR path?
Is at the top. I think it's it was defined on top. So it's saved it there. So
Okay.
it will compare the two values.
Sorry, somebody in the chat, tell me what kind of variable this is called. A variable that is made outside of a function and a variable that is made inside a function. What are both of them called? What is the one outside a function called? Go ahead, Derry.
Okay, I think the one outside, should I attempt it or? Okay,
Yeah, you
I
can
think
answer it.
someone.
You know the answer.
Okay, I think the one outside the function is called the variable, while the one inside the function I think should be called is it a field? If I'm not,
A
I
what?
think it's a field.
A key.
No, field. F-I-E-L-D, field.
Oh, no.
Oh,
There's
okay,
an
yeah.
They are both variables, but one is called
Oh,
let me
okay.
see if someone in the chat. Yeah. Someone said the one outside of a function is called a global variable. The one inside
Oh,
the
okay.
function is called a scoped variable. So Michael will be well done. Okay, go on, Derry.
Then sorry, let's see.
Sorry, I made you lose your thoughts. You were talking about you were here.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so there'll be a comparison between the values in the two variables. Then if they are the same, then it will execute the next line, which will be okay, it should return a boolean shall maybe true or false. So if it is true, it should execute the next line and create a directory named resources. Yes, that's inside the current working directory. Then to now change into that directory. So it will call the chdir, which would execute a change directory into resources.
Okay. Yes. Into the folder you just created.
Yes. But if the comparison in the if is false, it won't execute line 43 and 44. It will just jump to line 45. Then to execute the change directory into the global variable defined on top. That's the value, the part there defined on top.
Let me ask you before we go on. This line, you said it's comparing these two values.
Yes.
Right? What is it trying to do by comparing both of them?
Yeah, so it's trying to check if both values are the same, if they are equal.
Okay. So it is basically asking, is the current working directory this directory here? Right?
Yeah, yes.
Asking, are we in this directory?
In this directory, okay.
Yeah. So that's what it's asking with this.
Oh, okay.
So if it's in that directory, it creates this folder. If it's not in the directory, it goes to that directory and does the same thing, creates this folder and goes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that's what this is doing, which is called here. Right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I think after 52, it jumps to 53. So I think that 53 is going to execute the sub process. I think it's going to create a sub process. I don't know, I'm just guessing. So I think it's going to create the sub process.
I wrote this thing here.
Okay, sub process maybe.
Sub process model.
In the system. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm just guessing from the name there.
It executes this
The
command.
commands. Okay.
first, and SP to execute this other command.
Commander, okay.
Okay. All right. So well done, Dari. That was wonderful. Let's try to see if we get any errors from this. We'll try to debug that within the time that we have. Okay. Receiving it. Okay. So we see that we've created a variant file here. So, which is Ubuntu F64. So we just automated the creation of this variant file. So I can give this script to anybody and they go to their terminal and do Python 3 Python automate 3.py, and it creates an Ubuntu Vagrant folder for them in a particular directory. So that is what automation in DevOps is. And this is why programming is powerful in DevOps. Do you need to learn programming to be a DevOps engineer? If you want to be effective, if you want to be as efficient as possible, you should learn a programming language so that you can automate stuff. Thank you so much, everybody that participated. Okay, we have a question. Etim, go ahead. Is the question about this class?
Yes. I don't know if it's CodeCamp Pro. I was asking, I want to ask if we could also get this script, because basically I noticed the LMS is just with assignments we've been doing so far.
Okay.
So
All right. Yes, you can get the script. You can get the script. I'll find a way to send it to everybody. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I think that brings us to the end of the class. I hope we are all still not discouraged, and instead we are very motivated. So thank you, and goodbye. Good night.